Good evening. Welcome. It's Tuesday, March 25th. Welcome to the Glens Falls Common Council meeting. It's 7:30 and time for a regular session. Tonight we have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilwoman Palmer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So first up is public comment. I'd like to make a public comment. I have an announcement. So I'd like to advise the council and the public of a matter involving the City Recreation Center on Fire Road. We're looking into a possible underground leak of refrigerant used at the rink. The underground leak is not visible inside the Recreation Center as the equipment is located beneath the floor of the building. To the best of our knowledge, there's been no human exposure to the material at the rec center. The refrigerant contains propylene glycol. The possible leak first came to light in January when City Department of Public Works employees noticed a decline in the level of refrigerant as displays on gauges. The DPW employees contacted Carrier, the holder of our maintenance contract for this equipment, and addressed the issue. New York State Department of Environmental Conservation is investigating the matter. The city has pledged to work closely with the DEC. The DEC has advised the city there is no need to close the recreation center before its already scheduled closing date of March 31st. That is my public comment. If there anybody else who'd like to address the Common Council, please come to the council and tell us your name and address, please.
Later in the meeting.
Great.
Thank you.
If you miss your opportunity, you'd have it at the end, right?
Yeah. Joe Wagner, Webster Avenue, Glens Falls. Thank you, Mayor Collins. I came specifically to that because this morning one of my friends alerted me that they had seen something on the DEC alert site or some sort of a feed when things go down environmentally in the area. And I walked over there, and there was a DEC lady there. She had her laptop computer. She's talking to a gentleman whose office is to the very right as you're about to enter the rinks. I'm assuming he's the manager. And outside was a DEC Jeep with DEC policemen, the kind of guy that saves your life in the woods. No different experience. Anyways, I asked them about the leak, and they couldn't tell me anything because they're tied under rules, and everybody's afraid of losing their job, and they just figured they'd defer. And they said, you need to go and ask the city or file a FOIL Act request. So I did go home and file a FOIL Act request. But I also saw that there was a spill date was officially recorded on 3/19/2025. Okay, so that's all of 6-7 days prior to this. Did you notify the DEC or anybody before that?
There's no spill date, Joe.
No?
It's not a spill, no.
Oh, I mean, it's an ongoing leak, right?
No, on Friday, that would be the 19th.
Okay.
On Friday, the 19th, the DEC came in and it said that somebody reported a leak, and they found no leak, and they did not close the rink down.
Oh, they haven't found a leak?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we know that there's leaking because there's material, it's getting low. So
Okay.
we know there's a leak, but we can't find the leak. We can
makes
see
sense.
that it's going down, but there's no spill. I guess I'm sorry. I wanted to restate
Yeah,
that. There is no
a
spill of any
A
material.
spill sounds like an exaggeration. I
Yeah.
get something just, you're finding,
Yeah.
levels are down. Any idea how much material has already been leaked out?
We'll work with DEC and the contractor that provides the material. We'll get that information.
Okay. And this was initially they figured this was happening a few months ago, like in January?
I read the thing, so in January.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Common Council, Claudia Bramer. I'm a resident of Glens Falls over on Liberty Avenue, and I think you guys all know that what I do for work is I'm an environmental attorney and environmental activist, so hearing about this is very disturbing. And if we've known about it since January, I mean, what have we been doing? Why have we not stopped the leaking? And it's semantics to me whether or not it's a leak or a spill. we're losing that material out of the system and we don't know where it's going and we don't know how much it is. And you haven't even said what it is. Is this a hazardous substance? Is it some sort of petroleum? What is it? And I find it hard to believe that the city is cooperating with DEC. If we didn't notify DEC, they found out through some third party, and we have done nothing to stop the leak. It's very disturbing, and I hope that the council takes this seriously. We are a city that has done a lot of environmental sustainability initiatives. We're doing all these wonderful things, and then to have a leak in our own city, on our own infrastructure, into an area that is right next to Coles Woods, not a stone's throw away from Halfway Brook, is very disturbing. And I hope you guys take this seriously and actually give information to the public. Because we can go on the DEC website, I'm sure, but they're not going to have a lot of information for us right now. So I hope that as our common council, you will do that for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to give you an update on the pavilion. So in theory, we have a start date of April 7th. I met with Bonaccio today to discuss the logistics and how we're going to deconstruct that, and everyone's on the same page. So that's going to hopefully move forward. And I just wanted to say again about the, I know you're going to be talking about the mobile food again today in theory here, but I had sent that email out to everyone. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it or not, but in terms of like making things clean, in terms of being straightforward, I think just doing the $25 for a 1-year fee for everything, and then the ones that are cooking with open flame have an additional $75 for the fire inspection. And then, that way it keeps it, and if somebody comes in after the fact and needs to amend their permit because they're adding dates, that there should be some sort of fee for the clerk for amending a permit. Because a lot of these vendors are never going to have to amend their permit. Somebody that's running a food truck, they're just going to submit the one piece of paper. Somebody that's operating under ag and markets, they're just going to submit the one piece of paper. It's only people that are operating under temporary permit from State Liquor Authority or temporary permit through DOH would have to amend. But like I said in one of the earlier emails, DOH, you can put in one permit or 10 permits at the same time, and it costs the same amount of money down there, $30. So that's what I would kind of propose at the city level too. So that's it.
Okay. Eric, while you're there, I'd rather ask it now than we get to the resolutions. So in regards to the pavilion, so you're going to take it down and re-erect it right away?
No, not right away. So there's not enough time to re-erect it before we've got to get going for the markets.
Right.
So it's going to get stored until the fall. And that way it'll give me time to, because I've got to go through ZBA and then planning board. So right there, that's 2 months. So there's just no way I'm going to get that done before May.
Right.
So it's just gonna get stored, and because it's going to be with digging the footings and everything, it's just no way that that's going to work cleanly with what we're doing. So probably in September is when we'd be shooting to put stuff back up.
And I asked this question because I had a constituent that asked it at a meeting. So say that never goes back up.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be the economy, it could be we go into a recession.
Yeah.
You could pass away, I mean, whatever it may be.
Hopefully not.
Well, I want to be forceful. What happens to our $10,000?
I don't know. If you want to put something into effect there that is predicated on the pavilion going back up, that's fine. It's going to go back up in at least 3 pieces. So the largest chunk of which right now is going to be, half of the pavilion on the southern edge of the Rock Hill Bakehouse parking lot. But again, it's got to go through ZBA. They've got to give me, the approval to put it where, we're planning on putting it, and then through planning board. So, I mean, if something gets hung up there and there's like no way, no how,
See, the reason that I asked that is as a county taxpayer,
Mhm.
we got hung up to drive $3 million we gave for a light show in Lake George.
Right.
And we're not getting it back.
Right.
We're getting a promise of a light show down the road, I think is where
Right.
it's at.
Right.
So I would just be more comfortable if we had something, Karen, I'm not sure what it is. And I don't know what's got to be in the resolution or whether it needs to be a contract.
Yeah.
That basically says to the taxpayer, we're giving this money away, but if
Yeah.
nothing ever happens,
Yeah.
that money is returned.
Yeah. No, the idea is that it would be going back up in September. So, but, however you want to word it, and I mean, again, we're going to do it in at least, it's not going to be one contiguous
Right.
unit anymore.
Right.
It's just, I don't have the room to do it as one contiguous piece.
Yeah.
Eric, if the moon, the sun, all stars were in alignment, when do you think everything would be up? We're not holding you to it. I just it's like rough. Estimate.
Well, provided the weather's not horrible, I would presume to put that up this year, because I'm gonna, part of what I'm gonna put it back up this year for is to be able to use it for storage, for to keep, snow off of stuff. So.
So if we put a time frame of that by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's fine.
that would-
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or you could amend the resolution to say that he wouldn't receive the money until he has his planning board and zoning board of appeals approval and it's reconstructed. So the money would be released when he's finished.
I think the money is to help to defray the cost of the move, not to create the temporary storage. It was,
Right, it's for, the resolution
So-
says removal and reconstruction.
I don't think that you can offer an amendment to a resolution, Karen.
I'm just thinking a suggestion to Councilman Landry as to what the board could do.
Okay, I didn't hear Councilman Landry ask for your opinion.
I asked her for that opinion. They sat right here and just asked her for that opinion. And I want to know if you're going to spend $10,000 of taxpayers' money that is used, especially if it's occupancy tax.
I feel that-
Money, I'm speaking, please. Especially if it's occupancy tax money, which is supposed to produce a boost to tourism. So if we give the money and it's used either for just the deconstruction or the takedown of it or just the moving across town, it does nothing for tourism.
Right.
It's when that physical thing gets put back up that it's then something that can be used to produce bigger events down there.
Yeah.
So I think that taking it apart and moving it across the city costs a certain amount of money.
Right.
And that is why I would not tie it to the money to that. I would say defray the costs, help the person defray the cost up front.
Right, but Ben, I understand where Bob's coming from here too, that it's, the occupancy tax has to be spent on something that's gonna promote tourism, so if it doesn't go back, I see where he's coming from, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Would you be okay, Eric, if it didn't, because you did say that this was to help with the move, and
Yeah.
we know that it isn't gonna
Yeah.
cover the cost of the
Yeah.
move, it's
Yeah.
gonna cost you
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
So that's why we called the OCTAX folks at the.
listen, I wasn't under any delusion here,
That
all
is
right?
cost.
Well, wasn't under any delusion that, like, you were gonna prove this and I was gonna have a check in hand tomorrow, all right? So, I wasn't expecting that to happen necessarily. Because if it was gonna go through, and let me just say, for next year, maybe it can be changed. But if it's gonna go through the OC tax, the 60,000 or whatever that the city gets that's unrestricted, I know the application is,
Do an April.
yeah, exactly. So, and all I was gonna say to that is for next year, maybe that process can happen before the end of the year. So events that have something going on earlier in the season can know if they're awarded money and plan. So like, for instance, like, I would have applied, if this wasn't going on, I would have applied for Thursday Market for music, but like all my music is already booked. So to ask for money for acts that are already booked, I can't even do it. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to get money and book in a better quality of musician, I can't, the city OC tax doesn't, so that's all I'm saying to something to consider, since we just happen to be talking about this. But, if you need to word something in there to make everyone comfortable, like my intention 100% is to put this thing back up. I'm not going to bother taking it down and moving it just to put it in a,
And I'm not,
and store it.
that, but what I'm saying.
I understand. Listen, I understand where you're coming from. I don't fault you for asking the question. I don't have any problem with that.
We did ask, and it is okay with them. So we could just table this for 2 weeks and put that it's to go to rebuilding, and we can give you the money in this year's cycle like we would. That was our intention.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that,
Mm-hmm.
and then as long as it does go up, how about by the end of the year? Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
think you split the payment in two. Give him 5,000 when he removes the structure, and then give him 5,000 when he erects the structure, and we're done.
That's fine with me.
That's-
However
Yeah,
people
we
feel
want to help you,
comfortable
and
with it.
you want
You know what
to,
I'm saying?
you understand.
Yeah.
Is there anybody,
The resolution says removal and addition,
We also
and
need
installation.
planning board and zoning board approval.
Right,
So
right.
what if he doesn't get that,
That's
and
true.
therefore he can't build
Well,
it?
that would.
Well, so like, the one that's gonna go on the edge of Rock Hill parking lot, like, I almost hit all the setback requirements, and that parcel, actually, because there's an acre on both sides of the street, and one acre is pretty much not developed at all, I probably come pretty close to meeting all the requirements in the code. One of the other sections that I want to put up is between the smokestack and Curran Lane there, a two-bay section. That's going to be very close to an internal lot line. So, I mean, technically, I own both parcels, but if they're going to dot the I and cross the T on everything, technically speaking, that one might have an issue. So, I don't know.
well, and it doesn't have to be all of it. Actually, it's helping us take something that would have been torn down.
Right.
So even if
That's
one
what I'm
third of
saying.
it got
Yeah.
approved. So,
Yeah, I think that the city has an interest in preserving this and not just creating waste.
Yeah.
I also really appreciate your willingness to step in and do it, because it would have been demolished and it was too expensive for everybody else. Nobody
Mhm.
was interested,
Yeah.
and I know you're going to be investing a considerable amount of your own funds. If Jim's suggestion is a motion, I would second it. Couldn't we just amend the resolution?
if that's we'll pull it and we'll amend it and bring it back to you next council meeting. Is that acceptable to everybody?
Or amend it tonight.
Yeah, just do it
Or to
tonight.
amend it tonight?
I don't think anyone has a problem.
Well, I think you're against the timeline, would you just say April?
Well, April 7th is when we're starting.
Right.
That's it. So, and the plan is, weather permitting, we'll take it down that week.
And I believe we've got enough money in the budget,
Yeah.
and even if
Okay.
we don't have it, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
All right.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, pull it for discussion, and what, I'm sorry, on the fly, and vote?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what one is
12.
12? Not seeing any other public comment. Committee reports. Councilman Clark.
No report at this time.
Councilman Donahue.
Sustainability. We're talking about the Waynesville solar project. The current lease for the Waynesville site is currently under review by both the solar developer and the New York Power Authority and the city attorney. We hope to have that on the council agenda in the next meeting or two, along with a rough idea of the overall savings the city should realize with the project. Along with that is a Northern Power and Light has finally gotten the Warrensburg Hydro Facility back in operation as part of our community hydro project. The city has been receiving 5% discount from NPL, but recently got incentives from the state to increase our discount slightly, perhaps to 7 to 8% by 2026. These are incentives now allow NPL to extend the discount to residents and small businesses, which were previously been getting no discount. And when it comes to the Smart Farm, Jeff mentioned earlier the Smart Farm grant project has been completed, and the city is simply waiting to be reimbursed from Empire State Development in order to close the project. Because it seems like it might have some commercial viability, the plan is to turn over the project to the IDA, which has committed some funding to support the operation as they try to place it with an appropriate private operator. According to Jeff, the IDA's current plan is to privatize the farm to start up ADK, a project being run by City Adirondack and the Warren County EDC. PGO charging stations takeover. Plug-in stations online is currently going on installation of new charging stations at each field. While planning to take over the operation, the remainder of the city's public stations. Jeff is also working with NYSERDA, PGO, and a company called Volts Post on possible installation of new chargers that would be installed on lamp posts themselves. If successful, these would be installed through a NYSERDA grant and opened by PGO as well. CEC grant funds. City recently received previous awarded grant funds from the Clean Energy Community Program, including $20,000 for electric, lawn, and garden equipment for the DPW and $5,000 for trees.
Thank you. Councilman Lamb, committee reports.
Thank you. The Personnel and Labor Committee continues its meeting with health insurance providers as we work to reduce the cost of health insurance. The health insurance market is very volatile at this time, and we hope to have a cost containment proposal to bring before the council later this spring. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilwoman Palmer, committee reports.
Only to say that I'll be scheduling a building and codes committee shortly. I've received some agenda items from our department head, so I will reach out to Jim and to Ben to schedule.
Thank you. Committee reports. Councilman Lappin.
The Technology Committee meeting met on March 18th. We discussed the .gov domain for the city, which is in progress, and Chip just updated that today, saying that the City of Glens Falls NY.gov domain has been approved. So now we're moving through StoreTech and another one of our vendors to begin transition from cityofglensfalls.com to cityofglensfallsny.gov. That was in response to a federal, I think, mandate for domain names for government entities. We talked also about a training proposal to adding multi-factor authentication for VPN. There's still some follow-up that Chip's going to do with that. And we also talked a little bit more about C-Click Fix, still not clear on if we're covered adequately so that we don't run into the situation Albany ran into. And some of the other things in old business, we're looking for the Orbital Fire about the client's assessment of our cybersecurity recommendations, and we're still waiting to hear back from the city to that proposal, and that's about it for this month. The next meeting will be Monday, April 28th at 4:30 p.m.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, our sustainability committee meeting, our next meeting is April 14th at 5:45.
Sustainability?
Yeah, the sustainability.
Thank you. Okay, so under voice vote, we have two resolutions. One is a resolution to approve the minutes of the March 11, 2025 regular meeting of Glens Falls County Council. Two is a resolution to approve the controller's manual check distribution report. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Excuse me.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Under roll call vote, want to pull number 7, so we have our controller here to talk about that resolution just for a bit.
Okay, could you pull number 11 just for an extension vote?
Yeah. And then we just discussed pulling number 12. And in your packet, I just want to be clear that Megan had sent on Monday the mobile food unit license for a Clever Cleaver. So in my book, that would be number 17 added to the bottom of your resolution packet if there's no objection. And I can give you a copy. No, you got it? Okay. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Are there any other items that the council would like to pull? Not hearing any. We'll go number 3. Under roll call vote, it's a resolution to approve the request to set a public hearing on Tuesday, April 8, 2025 at 7:20 for a proposed local law concerning local law to amend Chapter 156, peddling, soliciting, and transient merchants, 156-17 license fees, and peddling 156-35 fees for mobile food units, removing all fees from the code and establish a peddling and soliciting fee schedule and mobile food license fee schedule to be established by the Common Council and to authorize the city clerk to post notice for a public hearing. 3 is a resolution to approve a request to set public hearing for proposed local law -2025, April 8th at 2025 at 7:25 p.m. to amend the city code number 153, Parks and Recreation, and section 91, dogs, based on the recommendation from the Recreation Commission, and authorize the city clerk to post notice for a public hearing. 4 is a resolution to approve an invasive species removal of vegetative plants using volunteer labor instructed by Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District from Crandall Park as requested by the Crandall Park Beautification Committee. This work will be done with the positive endorsement and approval resolution passed at the March 19th meeting of the Glens Falls Tree Commission as well, and be conducted using the same methods that were utilized in the 2024 invasive species project. 6 is a resolution to accept 3 NYSERDA grants totaling of $25,000 and increase expense code A67140-2500 Recreation Main DPW by $20,000 and A67110-4459 Parks by $5,000 for the combined total of $25,000 in grant funding that was secured by the City Economic Development Director. 7 is pulled. 8 is a resolution to approve the waiving of the city's open container ordinance for the 2025 Wingfest event, which will be held on April 26th in City Park, Glen Street, and Ridge Street between the hours of noon and 3 p.m. It has been done in prior years. The collaborative will not have volunteers at the perimeters, but it should be understood and explained that no alcoholic beverages will be consumed beyond the boundaries of the event, nor the Crandall Trust Library property. 9 is a resolution to approve the transfer of assets related to the Glens Falls urban agricultural plot to the Glens Falls IDA that the mayor has authorized to execute all needed agreements to effectuate these assets, subject to the review and approval by the city attorney. 10 is a resolution to approve the transfer of funds from insurance claim number 2024-0391L in the amount of $5,500, check of number 10317 for Future Equipment Inc. to repair and replace the damaged the city fire hydrant on the corner of Oakland and Fredella Avenues, and transfer the funds in the water sewer expense line F009999-2680. 11 is pulled. 12 is pulled. 13 is a resolution to approve the mobile food unit license number 21-25. 14 is a resolution to approve the following encroachment permits number 12-2025 through 18-2025 as approved by Mayor Collins on March 6th based on approved layouts in compliance with PROAG. 15 is a resolution to approve outside dining permits number 4-2025 through 5-2025. 16 is a resolution to approve the warrant. And 17 is a resolution to approve the Clever Cleaver mobile food unit license number 02-25.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Larchpark.
Yes.
Councilman Donahue.
Yes.
Councilman Landry.
Yes.
Councilman McClellan.
Yes.
And Councilman Evans.
Yes.
Great. Number 7 is a resolution. Mark, would you like to come on up and say hello? Let me just read the resolution while Mark comes up. Resolution 7 is a resolution to enter into an agreement with Paychecks, Inc., contracted accounting payroll service, and in doing so to decrease the city and general fund balance by $26,355.48 annually for the first year, and the contract at $25,055.48 thereafter for the next 2 years. And furthermore, to increase the expense code A11680447 Central Data Processing by the above referenced fee schedule. Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about it for us?
Certainly. Before we get into this, I would like to welcome Wendy Baird, our new deputy controller, very much needed, and has been with us for about just over 3 weeks and stayed with us and has done a wonderful job. I want to say Wendy, so everybody
Get
can see
recognized.
it. There you go.
Get her in. Don't worry, we didn't turn the camera on.
So yes, Wendy's been doing a wonderful job. And she's been helping me a little bit with this project, but this is a project that the mayor, myself, and Judy, HR, has recognized for some time. There's been a weakness in payroll, and it's not anybody's fault that there's a weakness. It's the fact that we have 186 employees, one payroll clerk. That poor clerk cannot take a vacation, is subject to human error, illnesses, and so forth. So when we saw this weakness and said, how are we going to better this for the city and employees, we looked at a lot of vendors. We found a very good proposal for $26,000 for 1 year. Our current supplier or database just alone is about $10,000. So if we can negotiate that out of our current contract, we will improve the payroll system immensely and benefit the whole city.
Questions?
Yeah. And it will work with our new timing system?
Oh yeah, they're fully integrated.
Okay.
Fully integrated. They actually like UKG.
Okay.
And they say that the integration to that should be rather simple and smooth.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Thanks for all your work on this.
Well, It's been a little bit, It's been a few months, but here what we're really trying to do is improve the quality of our payroll, the experience of our employees, and the consistency and overall risk, lowering the risk of this to the city as well.
Very good.
Any other questions?
It's not.
Excellent.
Do we have a motion for a roll call?
Just one question.
Sure.
You're saying the strengths, I just want to know what the strengths are, or what weaknesses, or what kind of analysis.
So there's always inherent weaknesses. to payroll. One is governmental regulations, audit support.
So one thing I remember from previous audits that we've had, just things that, as you brought up that
Okay.
comment, was that we had, I think, about 14 years in a row, we were being dinged for lack of institutional control over different things. Is this something that addresses some of that?
Institutional control.
Internal control.
Okay, internal control.
Internal control.
Okay, all right. So yes, actually, that would be good because now you have the ability to reconcile payroll from an outside party versus somebody who actually is being paid by the payroll system, and you have audit support with that as well. So that when the auditors come in, they're not just auditing our own records that we produce ourselves. They have a third party that actually has produced those records for us. So that is it's probably one of the selling points to one of these programs. Any other questions? Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
So, do we have a motion for a roll call vote on number 7?
So,
A second.
A roll call vote, please.
Councilman Large Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Donahue.
Yes.
Councilman Landry.
yes.
Councilwoman Palmer.
Yes.
And Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Great work. Number 11. Number 11 is a resolution authorizing community development annual payments in the amount of $13,290.58. The city for reimbursement of a portion of the community development director's salary and reimburse the expenses for four not-for-profits, Family Service Association, Glens Falls School District Backpack Program, now I understand, Waite House, and Warren Hamilton Community Action, per the 2024 agreement. So, Councilman,
I just asked that to be pulled because I sit on the board of the backpack program. I also work for them, so.
great.
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Somebody needs a second on that.
I'll second, yeah.
Great. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Large Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Donahue.
Yes.
Councilman Landry.
Abstain.
Councilwoman Palmer.
Yes.
And Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Thank you. 12 is a resolution to approve the city's use of unrestricted op tax in the amount of $10,000 for the T-Shirt Factory LLC of Glens Falls to facilitate the removal and reconstruction of South Street Farmers Market Pavilion structure to the Shirt Factory property on Warren Street. And we'd like to make an
May I like
amendment
to amend that?
into, can you help me with the wording?
So I'd like to amend it to say $5,000 upon approval of the Planning and Zoning Board and the removal of the structure, and then $5,000 on the erection of the, I would think one would be sufficient, so one of the structures. That way it gets the money a little bit quicker into everything.
I just have a question. Is the approval from the planning and zoning board about removing it or about building it?
Well,
Building.
building,
So we don't,
So it's 5,000 on removal,
right.
and then 5,000
That's
on,
not what he said.
5,000 when he gets the approval to.
I thought that you had said that you said
I-
5,000 on removal, and then 5,000 on building one of the structures.
I did also mention about the approval from the zoning and planning board because that's going to be important for that. So that would be part of.
So would that be all of the structures?
I just said one.
No, just one.
It just said one.
And Mr. Unkoff has said that he thinks that at least one of them is going to be pretty simple. It's going to be very little request, right? Yeah, just the one. But that would, if we get even approval on just one, then you'd be eligible for that and the second amount too, when he starts to put that one up. Is that language okay to the council?
Yeah.
So do we have a motion for a roll call vote?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Large
Yes.
Clark. Councilman Donahue.
Yes.
Councilman Landry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Palmer.
yes.
And And Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Under old business, I'll go first if you don't mind. Just a reminder to send a list of priorities and streets to the engineer. He's hoping to get your input by March 25th. It's just a quick reminder. He asked me to remind you guys.
Yeah, I gotta get that.
Yeah, if it's not even electronic, if you've got a list, we'll make
Okay.
sure. We've got your list from before, but it's anything new. Okay?
Well, it's still, on Cherry, going east
Yeah.
is not ADA compliant,
Yeah.
and the rest of it pretty much needs to be taken care of too.
Do me a favor, just come in and I'll write it down, because if I write it down now, I'll lose it. Okay?
Okay.
Great. Thank you. So that was my only old business. Go ahead, Councilman Clark.
Well, I just wanted to say, Councilwoman Palmer and the mayor, we started this smart farming during, I think it was COVID, right? It was COVID when we started this. And so to see this come to fruition and come to an end, and having the IDA take over this and make it a viable business opportunity for somebody, I think is a great thing, and I think it's something that is going to be helpful to our businesses, our restaurants downtown. So it's been it was a long journey, and I know a lot of angst, but I think it did wonderful, and we got a lot of wonderful press out of it, and I just wanted to thank the two of you for getting this going, because I thought it was a really wonderful opportunity for our city. So thank you.
Thank you. Old business, Councilman Donahue.
Well, yeah, this is a renewing old business, 26 winter. You think you got it taken care of, and guess what? You don't. Because then there's stuff in the backyard, junk, garbage, and everything else. So, it's a non-win situation.
Just keep trying.
And 56 Walnut, I don't know how long that's gonna go on either.
There's an update of that this
Huh?
week. There's an update for 56 Walnut
Okay.
this week.
Yeah.
They've got 2 more months to get it to open status. So it's kind
The
of,
neighbors are
We're on the
getting
last leg with the judge.
pissed off.
Absolutely.
And while they're at it, you might as well, if building and code's gonna be around, they better might take a look at 23 winter. I don't know what this guy's doing out in back. He's got pallets there, he's got heavy equipment, I have no idea what he's doing.
We need to report it to building and codes.
Yep. And we'll follow up. That's what it is. Councilman Lane.
No old business.
Councilwoman Palmer.
Yes, I have a few things. I had my Supervisor Turner and I held our third ward forum last week, and one of the questions that generated a lot of discussion was regarding the water bill, and I did let them know that we had started the process of doing a study related to that, but last I checked, I think we were redoing it or doing another one.
Doing the second part of
one?
it, the second part of
Okay.
it, yeah.
Do we know when that we'll get those results?
Let me get it for you, and also get you a copy of the first one, right? It was more detailed. They did one on comparing us with other communities, but it wasn't broken up the same. We found that some communities count it in different ways, and we immediately when we got it, we went, oh, but we need the deeper dive. And so I don't know, but let me follow up for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I also wanted to ask a follow-up question about the grant that I pulled for discussion last week.
Mhm.
I didn't see it on the agenda this week, so did we apply for it?
We did the preliminary, as you noted, the preliminary was done, but so we haven't found out if we're getting it, and Councilman Clark has a Economic Development Committee meeting on Monday that will start to address that, and then he can bring it to us when he talks about it, so, or when he learns about it, and so that's, his committee's looking at that.
Okay.
So we haven't spent the money, and even though, like I said, it's all in the business, in the budget, the original budget had all the equipment and a grant for half the money. We didn't get that grant, and we reapplied for another grant. We don't know if we've gotten it yet, but we sent in the pre-approval. What you saw was you saw a request to pay for the pre-approval and then the follow-up of the full grant application. So they have an economic development committee meeting. They're going to talk about it and get information and bring it to you.
So are you saying that we authorized someone to apply for the pre-application? Did CT Mail do that work?
They did.
Okay, so we never approved paying them for
No,
it,
that's
but
right.
you had them do it anyway?
Yeah, we did. Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I had asked, and maybe after you have your meeting, you'll provide this information, but just in that grant, supporting documentation that was in the agenda, it didn't say how much we were applying for, what the match was, how we were gonna pay for the match, what exactly outfitting means. I know you can probably fill me in now, but my request is just that that information be put in our supporting documentation when we're asked to vote on grants.
Absolutely.
And the last old business is just, we did have the How to Get to South Street event last week. It was great. I saw Mr. Flagg there, and several of the restaurants were packed, so I appreciate the community's support.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And I saw there was a line outside of Bastard Resto Bar.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
That was great.
Great job. We also put some, just so you're aware, put some signs out that business is still open. Seemed like the least we could do. So
I saw those signs that night. Yeah, that's great.
All right. We'll leave them out, and we're going to get some more that are not quite as big as we'd hoped. Councilman Lappin, old business, excuse me, sir.
Yep. Old business, just looking for follow-up on Michelle McFerrin death and discovery in the blue box. I sent this around on Wednesday, March 19th to everybody on the council and to the police chief. I'm just going to read it into the record. Last Friday, friends and family of Michelle McFerrin gathered in front of City Hall. I was the only person from the council, mayor's office, city staff, or police to interact with people gathered. I handed my card to different media and family members saying that I would follow up their questions with the city. I texted all members of the council and the mayor while I was there. Here are my follow-up questions. Where are the promised more details? What is the connection to the 2 911 calls made in the area around 9:30 p.m.? What about the dispatch clip aired by WNYT that broadcast this? It's Michelle McFerrin. She stated there's a group of men coming to cause bodily harm to her. She keeps reiterating that she's stuck inside the blue box at Tennybrook. What is the process the police follow when someone reports that they are being menaced? What is the process when people report they are stuck in a container and can't get out? The family and friends said that Glens Falls Police Department failed Michelle McFerrin, and this ongoing silence only makes the city look worse. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, new business, Councilman Clark.
Well, I'm sure everyone's going to talk about the second championship for boys basketball team. Very proud of my alma mater, my kids' alma mater, and I just it's a wonderful opportunity. Unfortunately, they didn't win it at the arena, but they did win it. So, but that's all that matters. So, thank you.
Thank you. New business, Councilman Donahue.
Nothing this time.
Thank you.
And
Councilman Councilman Lanning.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, it's obvious that we have a wonderful basketball team. They can run around and say now they're the GOAT. And I think the thing that was most impressive about this is we've had basketball teams with individuals named Van Scoit, individuals named Fredette, individuals named Gerard. This is a bunch of kids that came from what I would describe as the city sandlots and played basketball. They played basketball year round. They probably drove the recreation department of the city crazy to get the nets up and get lights on and so on and so forth. But whatever they did, it's always wonderful to see a bunch of average kids successfully do what our kids did. So I applaud them for that. And I also want to applaud Coach Rob Gerard. Rob's a city employee. He's a wonderful city employee. He's obviously an outstanding coach. And that's all part of putting a good team together. So my hat's off to Rob as well. I also just wanted to make mention, I noticed the other day that the The city now has our new fire truck that we purchased. I think we paid about $800,000 for it. It is now in service in the city, helping protect the city taxpayers. We've invested a lot in the fire department the last 2 or 3 years. And new ambulance, new ladder truck before I was on the council, and now new pumper. So that's progress in the city, and that improves our public safety.
Thank you. New business, Councilwoman Palmer.
Yes, I wanted to revisit the press release that you read in the beginning regarding the DEC issue. So I had a couple questions about this. My first question is, if we knew about this in January, why did we not seek help from the DEC by reporting it?
Because it appeared the DPW team to be a routine mechanical problem, a leak in the system. DPW did the exact right thing. They contacted the maintenance contract holder to address the issue. Routine equipment problems are not something we necessarily report to the council or DPW. Also, if you look at the, there is no visible evidence of a spill. The leak exists. It's beneath the floor of the rec center. The only information we have at this time is the gauge shows a declining level of the refrigerant. And DEC will now determine whether this is a reportable spill, and we'll follow their lead. And I will keep you informed as the issue comes forward.
Okay, because I've heard contrary reports to what you're saying from talking to various employees who did tell me that we were aware there was a spill, and also that there were photos of orange goo spilling out. So it seems like if something like that is happening, we should report it. Not just, partially to do our ethical duty, but also because maybe we could get help figuring out how to remediate it, or there could be funds available. Secondly, I want to know, why did we choose to pour more of the glycol in when we knew it was leaking out?
Because we're trying to get through the season. We called the handler and the maintenance contract, the company Carrier, who is our contractor. That's the plan we came up to. We're trying to get to Monday so we can finish the season. And actually, DEC has apparently agreed with us because they know that we're waiting until Monday. So
that's actually not what I got when I talked to the DEC today. They did tell me that we were allowed to continue keeping it open until Monday, but we are no longer allowed to pour any chemicals in, which is why it's okay to let it finish out till Monday, because it wouldn't be long enough to have to pour more chemicals in. But they said that we should be reporting any known leak, and we shouldn't be pouring more chemicals in when we know it's leaking. I'm also curious, how much money are we spending to just keep pouring in chemicals that are leaching out?
when we get those reports, we'll share it with you.
You don't know?
No, we don't. We looked at. We haven't received the bill yet.
That's also contrary to what I've been told, but I'll wait for you to show me the bill.
It's great when you get these reports, Councilwoman Palmer. If you come to me, you'll get the information, so you don't have
This
to
all
worry about
happened
getting
today,
this
so I'm coming to you today.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you were at the facility yesterday, so you must have heard something before yesterday.
I got a phone call from a constituent in the evening yesterday telling me they were really worried that the city was having chemicals leak into the Coles Woods area, and I hadn't heard anything about it, so I wasn't even sure it was true. But then I looked on the DEC's website and I did see that there was an open investigation, meaning they didn't come and determine there was no problem and close it, they left it open. So I went down to the rink to check it out for myself, and it was nighttime. I wasn't going to start calling people at night, and then today I received a call from a city employee who offered to answer questions and gave me further information. There was a meeting about this a few weeks ago with you and other staff, and there were pictures with orange goo, and the decision was made to keep it operational. To me, it sounds like we were aware there was an issue with a chemical that was leaking out, and we spent taxpayer money to keep pouring in a chemical that was leaking out and potentially polluting our own environment, which makes me uncomfortable. In addition, when I talked to the DEC today, I was told that we will not be able to open the facility in October unless this is fixed.
Well, of course.
So I want to know, since we've known about this from January, from your press release, what steps have you taken to start to secure funding so that we can fix this, or is there another plan? What's our plan?
Again, if you'd called me, but the plan is to finish the season, let it melt. We've already reached out to people so we can get an assessment, and then we'll take that assessment and decide. That plan will be is to examine the problem. We can't tell where there's a leak. We see that we don't have any puddling. We don't have any massive leaks, and so we're assessing the situation, and that's what we're doing.
I was also told that we think it could be a $1 million project, and the expense is concerning. So again, my question is, if we've known about this since January, have we been actively seeking grants? Have we been earmarking funds? What are we doing?
That's whoever's sharing that information with you is making an assumption that we don't know. We don't know what it's going to be until we look at it. So it could be a simple fix, and it could be $1 million. And so that's what we're doing. We called several other organizations that have ice like ours. We called organizations like the Civic Center, who has a different cooling system, so they weren't any help. We called Troy because they have a system similar to ours, and we're looking into it. And I'll give you more information when I have it.
Are we actively planning creating a budget or looking at grants that we could pursue so that we're not in a situation where we can't open this in October?
No, we haven't looked at grants right yet because we don't know what the problem is. So we'll know as of it starts melting on Monday, and then we'll get in there and we'll take a look. And we are bringing in experts to help us to understand until you know what you've got, that's what you're doing, is you're waiting for it. We're getting through the season. We didn't want to cancel the youth hockey season, but we would have if there was an emergency or a problem, and there wasn't.
It sounds to me like we were aware there was a leak and we chose to keep pouring. Why did we have to keep pouring more in if we didn't think it was leaking?
We knew there was a leak, Councilwoman Palmer. Yes, we did. There is no spill. I'm sorry if I'm... so I've given you the information that I have. We will, as soon as this is done and the ice melts, we'll do an assessment, and then I'll share with you if there's any financial cost. We'll share the information.
I appreciate that you would like to stop talking about this, but I'm trying to make the point that for me, this is a significant ethical and environmental and financial concern. We've been aware since at least January that we had a leak. We've been paying for additional chemicals to pour into a place that we know they're leaking out, and we did not report this. I think we had a duty to report this when we found out about it. I don't think we should be waiting. I think we should be proactively putting money aside or looking for funding sources so that we are not at the last minute worried that we can't open this.
Great. Thank you for sharing your concerns with me.
You're welcome.
Just a follow-up question on this too is, we replaced the chiller there at one point,
that's
right? So was that like a year ago or 2 years ago?
September of '24, the chiller was replaced.
Yes.
And at that time, did we do any assessment on any of the lines going from the chiller?
Sure. And matter of fact, they were in the carrier. We have a maintenance contract with them. They're the supplier of the material, and they're also the maintenance contract. And they were not only there in September, but there in January as well, and there was no concern. So this happened January 10th. We noticed we were low, and we've had carrier come in and fill it. And then January 27th, we noticed we were low again. And so we go, okay, there must be something there. Does this have to do with the chiller? Probably not, because of the September to January time frame. So can
you refresh my memory of what it was that we had to replace the chiller for at that time?
Yeah, well, the whole facility is 30 some odd years old and aging out, and so the chiller is one piece of the equipment.
Right. So I think of like the chiller as kind of being like a radiator or something to provide cooling, and like maybe it's like the water pump that's pushing around the cooling agent, like the antifreeze,
Yeah.
and that the part that's maybe failing right now is kind of like the radiator.
The fins
itself.
on the radiator.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, you know, as we open up the area next to the thing where we see some pink, and there's no orange goo, but it's a pink. They colorize the to pink, so we can see that there's some out there, but it's not spurting out. It's definitely leaking. And so that's what we are, but we don't see it where it's gathering. We also know that it's probably not happening underneath the ice rink, because if we did Troy's when they had major failure on theirs, it made the ice buckle. We've had no indication of any color or buckling in the ice itself. So that was another reason why we wanted to get through the end of the season and then assess the problem. Your assessment of the chiller, I don't want to pretend to know you're right. It sounds like you're right to me, but as soon as we close this down and we get an assessment, we will be coming to you. I'll have Tom come and give you a full report of what we learned from the company. Okay? We need to bring in the probably carrier because they do the maintenance contract, but we also need an outside organization.
What's the maintenance part covered too? If there's any kind of failure on this, is there something that we can go after with that?
Yes. Yeah.
And also, the city employees do not handle any of the chemicals. It's all done by the carrier under the maintenance contract.
And the chemical, by the way, and the information data sheet, from 1 to 5, and the 3 different environmental, there's 3 different sections to an environmental sheet. You can look it up.
It's
the name of it's
glycol.
propylene
Yeah.
glycol is 000 on all three ratings. Just so you know. I'm not saying it's.
Flammability and reactivity, it's a 0 on each
I
scale.
really don't want to hear any additional stuff from Karen. Thank you. I really don't, because she.
Sir, we need
things
to
that I
have
don't
some
wanna hear.
decorum. Thank you.
Mayor, motion to adjourn.
Yeah. So moved.
Do we have a second? Or we do have a second?
No, hold on, we need public comment.
Oops.
Apologize,
All right.
apologize.
Public comment, please.
Hi, Diane Collins from Glens Falls. I was here last meeting about the resolution number 12, and Pamela was ill tonight, and she was hoping to come, so she asked if I would offer my gratitude and thanks to the council for supporting this project, and to publicly thank Mr. Krischoff for moving it forward.
Thank you. Hey, Sean, how are, no, sorry. Go ahead.
Sean Palladino, 32 Peter Bend, and it's only 3 minutes. I just prepared a short little speech to a message with updates about the Crandall Library, the hospital, and my own thoughts of the tragic death of Michelle McFerrin. First, I just want to take a short moment to pause and pay respects to Michelle. Just a couple seconds. After a tragedy, we all have a deeply human need to find someone to blame. We just want to know that somebody was responsible. She attempted to reach out for help to the best of her abilities, but just wasn't enough. She was scared and did not know what to do. I was on that path towards tragedy back in September. My undiagnosed anxiety and depression led me to near-death experiences, whether on the bridge overlooking the Feeder Canal or in my own backyard. The mental pain that I had been carrying inside became too much to bear until, with the support of my now husband and therapist, I walked into the Glens Falls Hospital emergency room. I'm happy to report that the hospital saved my life with a crash course in psychology, learning meditation, and curbing unhealthy coping skills. Through these changes and guidance, it's unleashed so many wonderful changes. I'm now a supporter and framed photographer in the LARAC. I've wrote 25,000 words and 20 essays, some of which is from local plays and the Wood Theater, and cultivated courageousness that was lost for so long. I was thrilled to learn that the Glens Falls Hospital recently updated their ER and crisis units. I know they will save many more lives. Just wish Michelle was one of them. The Glens Falls Hospital's Aloha 5K fundraiser is scheduled for May 31st at 9 a.m., starting at the Pavilion in Haviland's Cove Park. If anyone wants to run or walk on the Feeder Canal Trail or the new Prince Island Trail to support the hospital. And lastly, for those interested in supporting the valiant efforts of the Crandall Library, their public board meeting is tomorrow at 4:30 in the community room. Given the recent executive order that targets federal grants for libraries, we have to work together as a community to ensure it remains a beacon of hope for the next generation. And for those who cannot attend that board meeting, the Friends of Crandall will have a spring book sale on May 30th and May 31st, also in the community room. Thanks you for listening and looking forward to a warmer horizon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not seeing any other public comment, we have a motion to adjourn.
No, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Stand adjourned.